All right, hi everybody. Meteorologist David Glenn here live on this overnight Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, however you want to look at it, with it being just shortly after midnight Eastern. I guess it's now officially Wednesday. We are tracking slow-moving showers and storms. Main concern here is the risk of flash flooding, and of course, you can see on the radar view quite a bit of lightning with this as well. This is a very slow-moving system, and because of that, the heavy rain continues for quite a while. And the slow movement, again, is going to mean that areas where the ground's already saturated, we're just going to have the heavy downpours just continue for the next several hours. Let the computer load up over here, but I'm going to show you, as you can see on the radar view right there, when it gives me control back, you can see the heavy downpours moving southwest to the northeast, a lot of red, a lot of orange. But as far as severe weather, that threat's pretty low. Again, it's mainly heavy downpours and flooding. These areas in red indicate where there are ongoing flood warnings in effect. And right here is where one strong storm rolled by east of Clay County, but all these other storms, no special weather statements, no warnings because they're below severe levels. Extremely noisy. A lot of big light show out there, the lightning and loud claps of thunder, but again, not severe. But the very heavy rainfall is our big concern going through the next couple of hours till they eventually start to fade out, and it will do so. We've seen the overall strength of these gradually weaken over the past couple of hours. I know that may seem strange with it being so loud, but again, not quite as strong as they once were when they were over Kentucky. It's that same line kind of initiating the storms that we have over us now. And in fact, I've had one comment here. Michaela says it's so loud in Cleveland. I got you. I understand that. That's the reason why we're doing this live, so you understand what's going on out there. So let's take a look at the full scope of the radar here, and you can see very heavy rain, mainly north of Chattanooga. We've had a little bit go by the city over near the Camp Jordan area, East Ridge, but right here, part of Bradley County. Look at all that rain. That even maybe some hail showing up there right on the Hamilton and Bradley County. Well, that's the Bradley Polk County line, and all that lightning Michaela's mentioning right there. Tremendous amount of lightning going on. All that's going to be dropping across the state line in northern parts of Whitfield and eventually Murray County. Very, very Ooltewah, all the way up to Sale Creek, Pikeville, 10 miles. So again, it's raining buckets out there and extremely loud. But again, the severe threat's low. So I know people are, when you see colors like this, it's how severe is it going to be, how the tornado risk, that's really low. My concern right now, of course, is the lightning risk. Don't be outside, but also the flash flooding threat because of the very slow movement of the downpours. And we'll take a look inside some of these on the velocity scan. Again, this is around the Ooltewah area. Some bright red indicating there. So you got some wind gusts out there, but kind of that 25, 30 mile an hour range. You've got to have gusts of 58 or higher to reach severe potential. So it's windy with the rain, but not at the severe level. Okay, not at the severe level. But there it is. That's extremely heavy there. And we see that little purple shading there right near the Polk and Bradley County line. There could be some hail with that. So that's just north of Cisco, just northeast of Cahata. Tremendous amount of lightning all throughout there, all the way through Polk County. And that does spill over into northern parts of Murray, just east of Chatsworth, into the mountains there on into Fannin and Gilmer County. Across North Georgia, a lot of rain and lightning around Sugar Valley over to Calhoun, right along I-75. Again, not severe, but it's raining heavily. Same thing in Ringgold. Pretty noisy out there, but not a severe storm. So if you can sleep through the thunder, you're okay. But if it's going to keep you awake for a while. But again, our main concern with the orange and red is the heavy downpours of rain. Some of these areas have already had upwards of an inch or two of rain already, which again is going to start adding up in the rain gauge and leading to that flash flood potential. Let me show you one area with the rain that's really been heavy, and I'm going to clear these out and get an update on here real quickly. Hang on, here we go. So this was about an hour ago, those rainfall totals. Let's update those a little bit. So this is southern Meigs, northern Bradley, 2.5. This is just north of Dayton, a little over 2.5. Let's go north of Dunlap, north of Sequatchie. And in parts of Hamilton, about a half inch. But all these areas, it continues to rain. So it's falling on saturated ground, and again, could lead to flash flooding. So if you live in a flood prone area, please just very loud and very heavy downpours of rain. You know, we had that flash flooding in Ringgold over the weekend. So it's going to put that cleared out, hopefully cleared out drainage system to the test now. And I know there was some debris issues in that. So hopefully that's been resolved and hopefully not a problem. But again, heavy rain occurring there because the ground's so saturated. But notice again, the only flood warning locally includes just a sliver of Monroe County. So if you're watching our television right now, you'll probably see at the bottom of the screen our flash flood warning out, but that's for the far northeast part of Monroe out to 2:30 Eastern time. A lot of other areas getting some heavy rain, a lot of excessive runoff, and leading to that flooding threat. So let's see. Gina says it's terrible out there in Ottawa. Lots of wind and rain, and I'm sure a lot of lightning too. Linda says fierce lightning, loud thunder, southwest Cleveland. You can see that on the radar screen. Brandon says thunder and lightning in Ringgold. And Doug says Lewis Chapel Mountain, Dunlap, heavy rain. Trina, heavy lightning, rain, Cleveland. Robin want to know when it'll end in Meigs County. We'll talk about that coming up momentarily. Oh, she says it's raining through her front door, mopping water. I don't like to hear that. So hopefully I can understand the urgency there. So stay safe there. Malachi, the wind, not a whole lot of wind with the storms. There's some wind gusts, but they're not the severe gusts. So the severe storm threat, tornado risk extremely low with this. This is primarily a lightning and heavy rain issue here. There'll be some breezes and strong gusts with it, but they've not been quite so strong. Thus, the reason why there's not many severe weather statements or severe weather warnings out there with that. Donna says Evansville's been really bad for quite a while. Yeah, there's been several to roll through that part of the county there near Evansville. I will say north of, say, Crossville, and for you folks, say Spring City, Pikeville area, it's about to sink out of your area. So that's a good thing. So you get to Cumberland County North, you're getting out of it. Okay, so it's not going to last too much longer. And I would say over the next, it's going to take a couple more hours for this to drop all the way down to the southeast. But again, that's going to be the issue. Let me show you the rainfall rate. Now, what I'm going to show you here is if it rained continuously for an hour, okay, this is what the rainfall rate would be. And this shows up as a 3 inches per hour. Now, it won't just sit there for a whole hour. But if you just break it down to, say, 20-minute increments. So in 20 minutes, that could rain an inch. 40 minutes time, about 2 inches. So you're looking at about an inch every 20 minutes with some of these downpours. And so that's going to start putting the wet ground and saturated soils to the test there and lead to more runoff. So any flood prone area, do be aware of that. Let's look at a few other, this is just for an example. This is in Western Fannin, rainfall rate about 3. So that's going to be, you're looking at pushing about a little under an inch every 15 minutes. Okay. Just break that down. So that's how heavy it's raining, but it is moving. So it's not just parked over one area for an entire hour. It is moving, but it is going to be capable of dropping at least 1 to 2 inches in these areas as they do move on by. And again, some of these areas have already had an inch or two already, with the rain continuing to come on down. Across Hamilton, it's mainly affecting the eastern part of the county, Ottawa, down to Ringgold and Catoosa County, but you go just to the northwest, there's some downpours coming out of Sequatchie County and then farther back up towards Grundy. So if that holds together, it'll cause some rain. But again, a lot of these storms of the next hour or so will gradually weaken and collapse a bit. So that'll start to fall apart. So it's going to be a matter of, do they hold together? Depends on how much more aerial coverage we'll have of the heavy downpours of rain. But the general movement, again, I'll draw an arrow, is down this direction to the south, southeast. Again, the intensity not as bad in Athens as it once was, not as bad in Decatur, but pretty intense here in Cleveland, although it's mainly now shifting south of Cleveland. Birchwood, Ottawa, Appleton, and right along the Tennessee-Georgia border right here, really intense rain, right along 411 right there. Intense rain coming down as it moves to the south and east. Let's see. Dennis says, Cherokee County, North Carolina, south of Murphy, lots of lightning, low wind, heavy rain in bands. Good description there. Appreciate it, Dennis. Samantha, eventually it will stop in Cleveland, but it's still going to be a little while. It will eventually get a little bit lighter in nature over the next half hour, maybe not quite as intense as it was, but this is still kind of coming in waves or bands coming on through. Nancy, same thing in Riceville. Right in here, you're getting heavy downpours of rain, a lot of lightning, but in Riceville, you're about to almost get out of that. So by 1 a.m., you got a lot of that starting to move farther south of you and kind of easing out, okay? Maybe not lasting quite too long. This is the main area where it's really intense right now. Again, it's not a severe wind situation. At this point, tornado risk is really low with this, but the lightning risk and the heavy rainfall, flooding risk is the big situation here. Cassidy says, getting windy and rainy in Lakeside. You're not far from us. Joanne says, it was really crazy in Decatur around Watts Bar. A lot of wind, rain, hail, and lightning. Well, here you go. See that bright flashing red right there? That, my friends, is a large area under a flash flood warning. That's what we've been talking about. The reason why we are on the here. So let's talk about this for a second. That's a flash flood warning out until 3:15 Eastern time. Flash flood warning out for Bledsoe, Bradley, Northeast Hamilton, McMinn, Meigs, Southwest Monroe, Northern Polk, and Ray County. So, I'm showing you some of the rainfall rates there. Here's the situation. Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across this warned area. Already between 1 and 3 inches of rain has fallen, with an additional 1 to 2 possible in the warned area, which means flash flooding is either ongoing or expected to start shortly. So be aware of flash flooding in small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, underpasses, as well as other poorly drained areas. So again, that's a flash flood warning out for Bledsoe, Bradley, Northeastern Hamilton, McMinn, Meigs, Southwest Monroe, Northern Polk, and Ray County. Encompasses a large area there, right in here, because of all the excessive runoff with that band. So look at the areas under red. Cleveland, Ocoee, Benton, Etowah, Athens. I mentioned Riceville a second ago. Inglewood, Decatur, Dayton, Sale Creek. Not Soddy Daisy, but Sale Creek down to Snow Hill. Most of Bledsoe County, Pikeville, all of Ray County, actually just north of Spring City, just out of it, north of the county. 10 mile, not under it, but still beware of runoff. But there you go. Again, that area in red, just in case you're wondering, that is a flash flood warning out until 3:15 Eastern time. Make sure it's scrolling on a screen there, and it is. We've had that up for Monroe County, and that's including these counties. So that's roughly for the next 3 hours because of all the runoff. I have a feeling before 3 a.m., the rain will stop before then, but it's the runoff that'll continue. So if you're in a flood-prone area, please be aware of this. If you have friends or family who live in that area and you know that flooding is an issue, give them a call. Text, give them a call, let them know, hey, there's flash flood warning out. You need to be aware of that. Be aware of your surroundings, okay? The only other local spot under a flash flood warning is the far northern part of Monroe. I mean, I'm talking a little sliver. Most of that's in the mountains, okay? Right near the Cherry Hill Skyway. So that extends farther north. There you go. basically Pikeville to Ocoee, Athens to Cleveland, Inglewood, Sale Creek, Dayton, and to just south of Spring City, that flash flood warning in effect right here for that area in red. Okay. And the heavy rain continues dropping to the south pretty rapidly now, crossing the state line. So northern parts of Catoosa, northern Whitfield, northern Murray, all this heavy rain's dropping your way. So heavy rain, getting noisy, the light show and the loud claps of thunder. Same thing in Fannin County, just west of Blue Ridge, and just west of Ellijay out of the Gilmer County. Also in Gordon County, pretty noisy there from Calhoun to Ranger to northwest of Fairmont. Again, not severe, but a pretty noisy storm. Beware of ponding on roadways, and I'm sure slow traffic there on I-75. David mentioning he lives in Tunnel Hill. They've had that light show going on. Just started to rain. Well, you can see right there north of Tunnel Hill. That's coming your way. The light show you're seeing there, here's Tunnel Hill right here. The light show you're seeing is all this to your north and east. It's like paparazzi out there, but it's going to start moving your way closer. And if you're just tuning in, that red box right there, red elliptical polygon, that's that flash flood warning out until 3:15 Eastern time. Again, these areas have had already between 1 and 3 inches of rain, and an additional 1 to 2 possible in isolated spots. So poorly drained areas, creeks, streams, branches that feed into area creeks, that could cause flooding over roadways. So I want you to be extremely careful. And again, if you do know of people living in those areas, maybe that you're not sure if they're warned, give them a call, give them a text, make sure that they know what's going on. Now we do have this advisory coming over the plateau. This line of storms right here, McMinnville to Manchester to Altamont. Okay, this is a what we call a special weather statement. It's just a step below a severe thunderstorm warning. But storms can provide wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles an hour along the heavy rain and lightning. So that's going to be Coffee, Grundy, and Warren County, but be aware of that across most of Grundy County. Let's take a look at the velocity in that storm. Yeah, you can see some peak gusts there just east of Manchester, right in there. That bright green headed toward the high top radar. Got some gusts close to 40. Okay. Let's go a little bit north of Altamont, 13 to 30, 36. So you got some gusts in there. Let's check this part of the county. You can see right in here, bright green indicating some stronger gusts. Okay, it's up to 40. So yeah, get above the surface. Some gusts could reach severe levels, but again, that's still 50, 55 is just below severe levels. But again, you folks in Altamont, Manchester area, those coming over the plateau could be a little severe. It's going to add to more rain heading into Sequatchie County through Dunlap. So you got one band south of Dunlap, another one coming off the mountain. So it's going to be a while with this sticks around. What I'm going to do also is take off this flood warning for just a second. So you can see where it's raining, and I'll put the flood warning back up there in a minute. But again, you can see we're starting to see two main areas of heavy rain. One of those right here. And the other's right here. So it's those areas. Now, it's not saying it's not bad here, but the rain and lightning intensity is not quite as bad as it once was. But here's where it's really bad. say White Oak Mountain, and then right along the Georgia-Tennessee border, dropping south, and this band coming over the plateau. Let me look at the echo tops here. They'll tell us if this is stronger, weaker. We'd love to see a weakening trend, and it's still that one. Some of the tops in these storms are still around 50,000 feet. So you got a storm 45, 50,000 feet. That's why you're able to see the lightning from so far away. I get a lot of people saying, is that real lightning or heat lightning? And I have to remind folks to say that there's really no such thing as heat lightning. We all grew up hearing that. I know that. But all heat lightning is this time of year when you have storm tops that are 40, 50,000 feet, you can see lightning from miles away. And it's so far away that you can see it, but you can't hear the clap of thunder because sound doesn't travel that far. So you see the lightning, you don't hear any thunder, it's not raining over you, you think, well, that's got to be heat lightning. Now, it's just distant lightning. It's lightning from a distant storm, but it's too far away where it's not raining and you don't hear the clap of thunder. But that's what that is. So it's just lightning from a distant storm. All lightning's lightning. It's not just humidity causing lightning. It's generated by a storm. And there's a lot of it tonight. But that's why you're able to see it from so far away in so many different directions tonight. But those tops in the storms are coming down a bit here from Athens to Decatur. So this is going to start, you're going to notice over the next hour, a lot of this winding down. That's good. But in these areas sinking south, it's still feeding off the warm, humid air we've had around. Energy's been untapped until now with the storms. And so they're just kind of feeding off that. And with it being nighttime, they'll eventually kind of collapse a little bit faster. But when they do, they tend to speed up a bit. So you get some gusts out of that. You get a lot of lightning with it. Very common when you have hot conditions. The lightning production is going to be a whole lot more within the storms. And of course, moisture-rich atmosphere, very heavy rain. And unfortunately, with that saturated ground, that's going to be a problem. But again, for all that red and orange out there, as I've said so many times before, these are below severe levels. So it's more of a lightning flooding threat right now than it is that of a severe storm threat. Okay. And one more time, just to show you, and I'll show you a few other times as well. That's the area of the flash flood warning is in effect. The area outlined in red, all these areas under that flash flood warning till 3:30. Again, rainfall amounts have been in the 1 to 3 inch range with additional 1 to 2 possible with the rain moving on through. So again, a lot of runoff, flash flooding. That's going to be a problem. Let me send out this. We have a text message group with our weather team. So let me send this out to them. Let's see. We just talked about the lightning. Dennis says, grew up in Central Florida. As the storms moved off the coast, we saw heat lightning. Right. You can still call it that. It's just lightning from a distant storm, not generated by heat. But we've all heard that growing up, and so it's kind of hard not to say that. But when people ask me about it, I have to tell them what that really is. But you can call it that. So Hattie May says lightning and thunder and pretty bad in Cleveland. Seems to be letting up some now, and on the radar it is showing that. See, Kenny. So Lafayette going to get any rain. Eventually, it looks like Lafayette could. It may be a while, Kenny, because we have to see if you're in Lafayette, we have to see if all this holds together. Okay, if it holds together, you'll get some rain and lightning in the next hour or two. A lot of that's going to be to your north, but some of this right here could initiate development as well. All this is kind of rapidly dropping down to the south. So, you're going to see a light show to your north, but for now, not much rain in Lafayette at the moment. But we're watching that. Eric, I don't know what you mean there, but thanks for watching. Shannon says heavy rain, lightning, insane in Harrison. Weather radio woke me up. At least you have that weather radio. It's good. Told you about that flash flood warning. That's what those radios are for, to wake you up in that event. Lightning, heavy rain in Eton, Murray County. Thanks, Jacob. Horrible here in Dayton. I just now barely got home. The wind and rain was bad. I could barely see the road. Yes, intense rain through there. Polly says lightning and thunder in Cohutta. All right. Thanks, everybody, for chiming in here. All right. So again, two areas we're watching. Of course, we mentioned the flash flood warning here. The area outlined in brown, that is a special weather statement for a storm that is right between Dunlap, Altamont, over to Manchester. It's got some strong wind gusts with it. Okay. So that's what they're noting here, coming up and over the western slope of the plateau there. So it's not a warning, but between now and 1:15 Eastern, 12:15 Central, there could be some wind gusts accompanying the lightning and rain. And those wind gusts could exceed 50 miles an hour. 58 is the threshold for severe, so just below that. So we'll keep an eye on that. And again, the areas in red indicate the areas that are under that flash flood warning. So Cleveland, Ocoee, Hopewell, Calhoun, Etowah, Inglewood, Athens, Gator, Dayton, Sale Creek, Pikeville, all those areas under this flash flood warning. Again, that's out for just under 3 hours from now. Heavy rain won't last that long. The rain will taper off well before then, but the runoff will continue. A couple of folks asking about Eton. Let's go down to Eton. You see it's heavy downpours now. Right there. North of Chatsworth. So there it is. This is all coming down from the north. Okay. So you're gonna be in this heavy downpour rain for a while. Right on 411, Eton to Crandall to Cisco to Chatsworth. Heavy rain, a lot of lightning. So our main concern here, is going to be some flash flooding risk, and of course the lightning risk. So it's good that it's dark outside and late. Most people are inside. Okay. So just stay there and let this storm pass by. There could be power outages when you do a lot of lightning like this. So do be aware of that. Aside from Eton and across the rest of North Georgia here's Tunnel Hill, rain finally reaching you, Varnell, Cohutta, just east of Ringgold, but you got some heavy downpours just north of Ringgold. So right along the 2475 split and up 75 to Ottawa to Cleveland, heavy downpours and slow going there. I'll pull up some of the TDOT cams here. We'll pull those up here. So bear with me just a second. Let's pull up some of those. You can probably hear the rain on our rooftop right now. Let's see. I want to see where we got White Oak Mountain. It's going to get 75 to White Oak. Oh, it's unavailable. Bet I know why. Brainerd, 24 Junction. Now let's see if these. I'm scanning through the T-Dot cams here. I'll show you some pictures and some video here coming up. Yeah, I was trying to get that one right there at the scenic overlook on White Oak, I-75, but that stream is not available. Heavy rain may be obscuring the signal. All right, let me add this. All right, you can see this is the I-75 north of the Highway 64 bypass. And mile marker 21.8. So this is in that area that's getting heavy rain. You'll see some lightning flashes coming up. Traffic moving along there on 75 and 64. But heavy rain has been occurring there, and lots of lightning routinely lighting up the sky. Let me go to a different one here. Okay, this is moving up the interstate. This is the I-75 south of South Right Highway 60. And you can see, oh, look at that lightning. You can see some trucks pulled over to the side of the road there. A lot of raindrops on the camera. Traffic moving, but you got one pulled over. So the rain sure has been pretty heavy there. And that's at mile marker 23.8 on 75 northbound, southbound, just off Highway 60. All right. There's another look at the 64 bypass. Again, this is south of Cleveland. You see some of the trucks stalled there. So it's been that's at the 64 bypass. This is 75 south of East Brainerd Road. You can see the water stream in the back of the cars. There's been a lot of runoff on the interstate there. People still going fast. Got to slow down. Got to slow down. You can see a lot of just a mild ponding on the roadway there, but it's where the heavy rains move by. But traffic is moving. Okay. Can't see that one too. 75 north of Hiwassee River. I wish I could see that one right there. Okay, here's north of the Ooltewah exit. You can see the headlights, the rain glistening off the headlights. So a lot of streams of water on the roadways. Still some lightning through there. And this is south of this is I-75 south of Paul Huff Parkway, and you can see the raindrops in the lens there. So again, traffic on these cameras is moving, but for some, you got some stalled trucks on the side of the road. Here's Volkswagen Drive against some water on the camera. You can see the rain coming down there, lightning, but traffic is moving. And that's I-75 south of the Ooltewah exit. We'll take a look at one more. Let's see. 75 at Shalford. Yeah, you can see some hazard lights on some of the trucks. So visibility being reduced quite a bit. It's at mile marker 5.6 on I-75 South. All right. So there we go. Now we got that coverage of rain really picking up across North Georgia. And notice again, really, you draw a line from that Ringgold, really 75 and east. There's a lot. West of 75, not so much yet. We'll see if there's any more redevelopment to the southwest. But you can see it's kind of spreading out a bit. Like if you look at the direction of movement on the radar, there's just kind of this movement. It's kind of fanning out. I like that. Watch how that goes. Especially in that area south of Chattanooga, kind of fanning out just a little bit. So the movement kind of picking up a bit. But again, I've seen some questions here, folks asking about, is this a tornado threat? No, it's the severe storm threat is low. This is primarily a lightning risk and a flash flooding risk right now. There's some wind with it, but it's below the severe threshold. So the only warnings at the moment is that large area under a flash flood warning. No other watches are in effect, no severe storm watches, no other severe storm warnings around. But we're watching, okay? So Blue Ridge, Ellijay, Chatsworth, Eton, Cisco, Varnell, Tunnel Hill, all getting heavy downpours of rain. I mean, it parallels 75. There's 75 right there. And then west of the interstate, not so much. Same thing right here at the junction, 75-24. You go west of East Ridge, not as much. East, ooh, it really picks up. I'm going to take that flash flood warning out so we can see the rainfall intensity. A little bit better. There we go. And as you can see, there's some improvement north of the city, north of Cleveland to Athens. Rain gradually winding down. It's still raining, still lightning, but it's not like what it was. About an hour ago, you were getting this, and now it's all moving down to the south. But slowly dropping down in that general direction. Marion County, going to have more heavy rain coming out of Grundy and Sequatchie down to the south. Most of central southern Hamilton from Soddy Daisy south getting the downpours. You can hear it out on our rooftop. You might, I don't know if the microphone's going to pick it up or not. But yeah, the intensity is a lot less, much lighter now. North of Cleveland, Calhoun, Athens, more of a moderate downpour, not a severe risk. It is a flooding risk because of the runoff, but it is a little bit lighter. You go north of Spring City, up to Crossville, you're done. It's all good. Okay. But from Dunlap, at least for the next, at least through 12:30 Central. It's going to be a while for that to sink on down to the south. But Whitwell, Jasper, watch out there. Notice Red Bank, heavy rain. So many areas prone to flash flooding because of the saturated ground. Jacob says it's shaking my whole house in Eton. Yep. We're right there, right in that storm. Very heavy rain there. Might have a little bit of hail with that as well. I'll point that out. Really dark shading running here and a little bit of hail near Crandall. Let's take a look inside the wind. There's some sporadic gusts in there with it. definitely heavy pockets of rain, all that lightning and loud claps of thunder. How we're going in and out in the Talking Rock Ellijay area. I'll move it so you can see where it is. Right there. Gwendolyn says going in Chatsworth. Jacob says you had some hail and time. Okay. McCrae says lightning would have had a Ringgold. Oh, McCrae, thank you for your kind words there. I will pass that along to her. Thank you. Damari says storming, lightning, wind, and rain in Crandall. Yep. So everybody's really loud. I mean, it's really bad in Ringgold. Yeah, getting some heavy downpours in Ringgold. A lot of lightning, claps of thunder picking up. It's a noisy one. Severe threat's low, but again, beware of the lightning risk. We'll look at the velocity scan for wind. There are some wind gusts with this. Let's take a look at the potential. Close to 30. So it's going to be a little windy out there with it. Wind-driven rain. But heavy rain and very noisy claps of thunder. So its bark is worse than its bite. Okay. But nevertheless, if you live in a flood-prone area, be very, very wary of this. Sarah says the thunder in Murray is intense. You can see it's covering most of the county right now. If you live up and down 411, all that lightning. It is dropping steadily down to the south, so within the hour, it'll be moving out, but still it's pretty loud. But again, you go north of this area, things do start to improve. Now, it's still raining in Cleveland, still raining in Calhoun and Etowah, but not at the intensity that you once had. And the number of lightning strikes kind of dropped off too. So there you go. That's an improvement north of Cleveland, north of Saudi, but still we got this line of storms coming down through Dunlap, echoing across the Sequatchie Valley there. A lot of lightning around Red Bank right now, heavy rain. Let's look at the rainfall rate. We'll start in Hamilton County. That's 3 inches per hour. Now, that means if it sat there for an hour, it can produce three inches of rain. But you also break it down into, say, 20-minute increments. That means it could be raining an inch every 20 minutes. So if the storm takes 20 to 40 minutes to move by, easily an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain. So that just shows you the rainfall rate with that. So that's quite a bit. Others about the same, about 2 inches. If it parked there for an hour. But the rate north of the city, we'll show you for an example, is dropping off. For example, Decatur right now, it's really dropped off. North of Sail Creek, really dropped off. So much, much lighter north of the city, north and northeast. But in this stretch, and we'll circle it, right in here, this is where it remains a big problem. You can see it's kind of, it was dropping southeast, now it's kind of fanning out. Kind of as the cluster kind of collapses a bit, it just kind of fans out, kind of rains itself out. And that's what it's doing. See, Liz says still getting some strong gusts, heavy rain on Mowbray. Yeah, you can see right there, over Mowbray, right here. Madison, Chatsworth, right there in the heart of it right now. So you're getting the worst of it now. So stick around for at least the next 45 minutes, raining heavily with a lot of lightning there. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Brittany. Letting us know on the east side of Chattanooga, thunder and lightning with light rain. Tammy in Crossville, Tennessee, things are a whole lot better. Look at that. It's all quiet. It's all good. As long as you don't live in a flood-prone area, you're all good for the night. Most of it's all down here to the south and dropping farther down to the south and southeast. Eventually, Cleveland, you're going to be seeing much lighter rainfall rates coming up. That's good. Still some lightning around, but it's all the worst of it's now moving south of you and west of you. That means moving more to the southeast. Jan says heavy rain, thundering, and lightning in Varnell. Wanda, as far as Dayton, yeah, the worst of it's kind of past Dayton. Now, you're still going to hear a lot of thunder in the distance, but it's all pushing south of you. It's going to be south and west of you. It's starting to move away. But for the most part, Dayton's much better. Dayton's much better now. Yeah, it's extremely noisy, folks. That's the thing. We've had severe storms that weren't this noisy. And in this case, when they're producing a ton of lightning and a lot of rain, you know, if you sit through it, it's like, wow, that was an intense storm. But it's minus the wind threat. It's minus a large hail threat. So without that large hail factor and the wind gusts of 58 or higher, it's below what's considered severe. So not a severe storm, but still it's a pretty nasty one with rain and lightning. But that's the reason why we're on here, is help let you know what's going on. And, you know, even though, because you could have, you know, back in the day where we had live streams, you're usually not breaking into programming unless there's severe storms going on. But in this case, when it's really loud, people are like, what's going on? Did my weather radio miss a warning? Nope. In this case, they're just really noisy. But also, there's that flash flood warning. So let me take this off the screen. That flash flood warning back up there on the screen. That area circled in red, flash flooding out till 3:15. It's approaching 1 a.m. Eastern. So that's roughly for the next 2 hours. I think the rain's going to end way before that, but the runoff will continue. Let's check some rainfall rates here. I'm going to change parameters on this. And we'll put it at, let's see here. Rainfall totals the last 3 hours. So this is just over the past 3 hours. Three and a half. This is in Meigs County, so 3 to 3.5. North of Dunlap, 2.5. And this is not far from Decatur right there. Over 2. So that's over the past 3 hours. Past 3 hours. So in and around Cleveland, north of Cleveland, south of Cleveland. So roughly about a 2-inch average. Southern Polk, south of 64, about 3. Southern Road, about 2. So 2 to 3 has been very common. And this is just over the past 3 hours. And it's just now starting to rain across North Georgia, so that'll come trickling in as an update over the hour. But that just shows you again how much rain has fallen just over the past 3 hours, and it is still raining. That's the reason why that flash flood warning is in effect right there. I want to take that off the screen so you can see the radar a little bit better. Let's take a tour. Let's start west to east. So we got this pretty strong storm, Altamont to Whitwell. Over to Tracy City, Colmont. Heavy rain, lightning there, dropping down to the south. right between Dunlap and Whitwell. A lot of intense lightning around Red Bank with heavy rain back up the Signal Mountain. Getting into downtown, East Ridge. A lot of lightning there, all the way down across the state line into parts of Catoosa, Northern Walkers, Rossville, Port Oglethorpe. Heavy rain, lightning. We have some wind gusts with that as well. Ringgold Tunnel Hill. Again, heavy rain and lightning. Really heavy rain there near Tunnel Hill. And around Dalton, kind of hitting all areas there around Dalton. We go on 76 at Chatsworth, so just a light show. The rainfall intensity and number of lightning strikes gradually coming down toward Eton, Crandall, Cisco. It's not as bad as it once was. It's easing a bit, but it takes a while to ease off there. And then toward Elgin and Blue Ridge, just heavy rain, a lot of lightning. Cherokee and Clay County, not too bad. Moderate rain, but not quite as heavy as it once was. And again, things are rapidly improving in Cleveland. You're still hearing the lightning around, but things are getting better. Things are better in Athens, Decatur, 10 miles. Again, moderate rain, but that gradual step down in intensity is kind of winding down. So I want to ask about Chatsworth. Let's see who looks at it. Madison, how much longer in Chatsworth? I'd say over the next hour. By around 2 a.m., a lot of that's going to be moving out before 2 a.m. But next 45 minutes to an hour, heavy rain, a lot of lightning. Tornado potential, again, with this is extremely low. People asking about that. I understand. But it's still very low. Severe storm threats low. These are awfully noisy. A lot of heavy rain. There are some wind gusts with it, but staying below severe levels. And again, you can see north of the city, things are a lot quieter. So not going to be an all-night thing, although it's keeping us awake for quite a while, but not terribly long. There's that beautiful stretch of 127 there. So slow going there. I would not want to be driving that right now. It's a good thing this time of night, people are not on the roads. Let's check those TDOT cams again. All right, let's take a look. 153 at Dayton Boulevard. Raindrops, yeah, there we go. Some lightning aiding the view there. Can't really tell much there. This is 153 DuPont Parkway. Wind moving the camera just a little bit. Traffic is moving. A lot of lightning there. This is 153 Shallowford Road. See the camera moving a little bit. So it's got some wind gusts out there. Wind-driven rain. There you go with the lightning. And slow moving traffic. It's moving, but slow going. This is indeed one of those times where you do want to slow down. This is 153 Jersey Pike. Same thing. This is 153 north of Gad Road. Oh, you can see, look at that view. You can see the wind pushing. You see the rain, the sheets of rain coming down there. You see it moving, top part of the screen down to the bottom. So that's got some wind-driven downpours. The sheets of rain there. And you could slide quickly on that if you don't have good tires or if you brake too fast. That is 153 north of Gad Road. Here's I-24. I believe this is the East Ridge area. So you can still see the lot of streams on the back of the cars there. So there's enough water to slide around on the interstate. So traffic moving, but not like it was a year ago in the state. It was on August 12th last year. That part of East Ridge had that flash flooding. I don't want to see that again. It's a different situation, but still. Let's see. This is north of the dam, 153, close to where we are. Again, rain, lightning, the traffic's moving. All right. So that's just a quick update on SmartWay Cam. Now let's go back to the radar view. You can see very heavy rain there around the city. My cursor back. Where'd it go? Up the Signal Mountain, down in North Georgia. Again, big difference from Catoosa to Walker County. So heavy rain in Ringgold to Tunnel Hill to Varnell. Dalton to Chatsworth, really intense rain. Again, notice how you start getting into that. We mentioned Eton, Cisco, Crandall, getting to that northern part of Murray, you're starting to ease out of it. Same thing in Cleveland. A lot of lightning still going on, lighting up the sky, but it's starting to move away from you. North of Soddy Daisy, things are improving. Soddy Daisy south and west, not the case. Dunlap, 127 to Whitwell and Jasper. Powell's Crossroad area, heavy rain. Red Bank, downtown, East Ridge, Fort Oglethorpe, Rossville, almost to Chickamauga. There's the battlefield right there. So heavy rain happening there. Those areas are under a flood warning. Again, the only area under a flood warning, there's a flash flood warning, is the area in red right here, this deep red. That's where the flash flood warning is out till 3:15 Eastern time. A lot of folks are reporting power outages. We'll take a look at the EPB outage map. You can see right there, that's this is EPB's map. So about a little over 3,800 people without power. And you can see it's all around the county right now. So all around Hamilton, a little bit of Bradley, on in North Georgia. This is the EPB coverage area. So 130 different outage incidences. Repairs are already in progress. They are brave men and women. They're out there in the elements helping get folks back the power. So again, about 3,800 customers from EPB affected. A lot of outages all up and down here. That is as of just after 1 a.m. Eastern time. With our Storm Cam 9 views. And that's our Storm Cam 9 view from the DoubleTree. You see the aquarium in the background. A lot of rain downtown. A little shaking of the camera. I'm sure from a clap of thunder and also some wind gusts there. Let's take a look at that's in Dalton. That's in Landmark Building at Dalton. Well, let me go back to that. Hang on 1 second. I hit the wrong button. That's about the only two good views when it's this dark. Oh, this is kind of interesting. I'll show this one too. So this is the Rock City cam, and I know you probably can't see much, but if you look over in here, those are the flags at Lover's Leap, and then out here is just the vast view to the north and east, and occasionally you're going to see lightning strikes out here. So I'll hold the view here for just a second. So just a second ago, there's good lightning showing up. See if it'll do it again. But that's right at Lover's Leap, all the flags representing the 7 viewed states. So you got a good stiff breeze coming in from about the northeast. That's an eastern facing slope there at Lover's Leap. It's not going to show me the lightning, is it? It's not going to do it, is it? Okay. All right, let's go back to the radar view. There we go. All right, here's a storm advisory. This is for Southern Murray. Let's go Chatsworth to Ranger to near Ellijay. So that's just a special weather statement out to 1:30 Eastern. That storm could produce gusts from 40 to 50 miles an hour, along with clouded ground lightning and very heavy rain. So again, it's not a warning for a severe storm, but a special weather statement. Let's take a look inside that storm. Look at some of the wind gusts there. Right there on Highway 76. So lightning info. Let's take a look inside that. All right, right here. It's up to 30, 20. So there's some gusts, 30 to 40 there. And I'm sure channeling through the valley and mountain pockets there near Ellijay, you could have some stronger gusts. That tends to happen. But again, that's a special weather statement, which is just below a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Murray, southwestern Gilmer, and northeastern Gordon. That line of storms right along just south of Chatsworth and near paralleling Highway 76. That is moving to the south at 15 miles an hour. And again, if I remove the flash flood warning here, you can again see things are improving quite a bit north and east of the city. Yeah, it's still steady downpours in these areas, but this is a big improvement here where the worst weather is starting to sink to the south more. But in the city, right over the city, heavy rain, that's going to be starting to move and overtake a larger part of Walker County, parts of Dade, and near Dalton. It's all kind of spreading out in all directions now. That's typical as these things start to kind of collapse a little bit. It's to start fanning out. It's kind of going in all directions. It's kind of spreading out. We got Colmont, Tracy City, Palmer, all very heavy rain, large cluster of lightning around Whitwell. Same thing, Mowbray, Signal, Red Bank, into downtown Chattanooga. A lot of heavy rain, Rossville, Fort Oglethorpe, Battlefield, Chickamauga, Ringgold. Excuse me. What about Rock Spring, Lafayette? It continues over to Dalton, to Chatsworth, a lot of lightning, heavy rain. So again, as I mentioned, for most of this past over an hour, these are noisy storms. Severe threats low, but they're just nasty and noisy. A lot of lightning, loud claps of thunder, a lot of heavy rain. Our big concern is keeping an eye on the flash flooding risk. Excuse me. Let me go get a peppermint lozenge here for a second. We rock it. All right, dry throat from talking too much, so just a little peppermint will solve that problem. There we go. All right. Whitwell, Tracy City, Colmont. Again, this is all heavy rain, a lot of lightning, loud claps of thunder. And keep you awake for a while. Same thing from the city. Saudi, Signal, Mowbray Mountain, northern part of Lookout Mountain. There's Lafayette. Oh God, just boom, just pops up real quickly. Rock Spring to Lafayette. Yeah, it's not severe, just really noisy. Beware the flooding risk, because you'll have rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Some of these are up to 3 inches per hour. That won't sit over you for an hour, but you can still easily pick up an inch or two before an hour's time passes. See, Jen says Rocky Face, getting it really hard right now. Ashley says same thing in Ella J. Yeah, Sierra, Athens is much better right now. Athens, Tennessee is easing out of this. It's all mainly now south of the city and west of the city, but everybody else to the north, things are much, much better. We live up in these areas, north of Saudi, north of Cleveland, not even Cleveland North. It's night time. As the storms are moving away. You'll still hear the thunder in the distance, but it's easing away from you. Okay. But everybody else, again, not a severe storm situation, but a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain. Let's take a look at this one here, see if there's any wind potential with that one on Highway 41 in Marion County. It's got some gusts up to 40 with it. So pretty windy there in Marion. Yeah. Jasper, Whitwell, and down just south of Tracy City. So wind driven there with that. They did not put an advisory on that one, but that storm right here, and I'll circle it. That one cell right there. See how it's moving down to the south? That's got some wind gusts with it. So heads up, South Pitt, Jasper, Whitwell, Tracy City. Heavy rain, lightning, and be aware of some strong gusts with that too. Okay. In other words, it's going to be pretty noisy. So all of Catoosa, it's loud. There's rain, there's lightning. It's below severe levels, but nevertheless, still raining quite a bit. Check out that little fit. Got some pockets of wind there. See, right along the Walker-Catoosa County line, right in here. There's some strong gusts there, plus 30. Dalton, Chatsworth starting to move more south of those two cities. And so got this advisory right along 76 and 411 from south of Chatsworth to west of Ellijay to north of Ranger. That storm rapidly moving south and east, but it could have wind gusts of 40 to 50. That advisory out for about the next 10 minutes to 1:30 Eastern. Things are improving quite a bit in Fannin. Northern part of Murray, much better. Polk, still moderate rain, but again, not like it once was. So things are, all these areas north are improving greatly. Even in Grundy County by 2 or 1 a.m. Central, 2 Eastern, a lot of them moving away and getting on out. But Marion is going to be really at least through 1 Central before it sinks down across the state line. So you can see the intense rain along I-75, Highway 27 corridor. Heavy is starting to sink to the south of Dalton, south of Chatsworth. You're still going to hear a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, but the number of strikes not quite as bad as it once was. To the east, yellow-orange means moderate downpours. It's going to rain for a while. Cleveland, same thing. Athens, still some lightning strikes around, so it's still noisy, but the heavier rain starting to move out of Athens, so things are improving. And you'll still see lightning to the south and still hear the claps of lightning from the south for a while. But again, those areas north and west of the city, things are improving quite a bit. Soddy Daisy, very soon starting to move well south of you. So it's going to be a little noisy for a little while through 2 a.m., but I think beyond 2 a.m., heavy rain will continue to ease out. So right now it's southern Hamilton and most of Marion getting the very heavy rain. Let's check. So again, the numbers for power outages on the EPB service area, about the same, 3,700 people. You see all the red dots showing again where all that is out across the county, even down in North Georgia. So lightning, I'm sure, causing some issues. Got a repair in progress near Collegedale over in here, but so they work even during the elements. So there's some brave men and women on those crews out there working, trying to get people's power restored. About 3,700 people without power. Paul asking, will it be clear tomorrow night for the meteor shower? Well, I hope so. Yeah, the Perseid meteor shower is one of the better ones you see every year. There'll still be some scattered storms late tomorrow and into tomorrow evening, but hopefully overnight some clearing. So you can see that. So fingers crossed that hopefully that'll be the case. But usually the Perseid meteor showers, there's a peak night, but 3 or 4 days on either end of the peak is still pretty good. Still pretty good. I bet. Stena says power is out in Bradley County and it's so hot. Yeah, when it's steamy like this, you can't open a window. It just makes it worse. So hopefully your power won't be off too long. Leela says the thunder rattling the house. It'll make it shake for sure. Check those echo tops here. Yeah, this is good to see. I'm looking at another radar view. The tops of the storms, which we call them the echo tops, they're starting to come down. And when the echo tops start coming down, that's a good sign that the storms are gradually weakening. And we've seen that trend for the past couple of hours. I know it's hard to believe with it being just so noisy out there, but again, these have not been severe storms. But the fact that they are starting to collapse a bit and spreading out, kind of fanning out, does the fanning out you see on the radar does indicate that these are kind of just falling apart. It's still going to cause heavy rain or lightning, but not getting worse, put it that way. And in fact, things will start improving from the city and north. Still loud for a while, but again, not to the extent that it once was. So basically, it's a noisy, rainy scenario. And we got this advisory now for Walker County. And we, a few minutes ago, touched on the fact they had gusts around 30 or 35, I think was the last check. So, this advisory out here for parts of Walker and Chattooga County. Out to 145, wind gusts of 40 to 50, moving southwest to 20. So it shows you what we were talking about, how they're fanning out in all directions. For a while, it's all moving southeast. Now, as it collapses, it just starts spreading out radially or fanning out. So if I zoom back out a bit, see, it's kind of doing this number. There you go. It's got a direction of movement right now. So again, this right here, this is a special weather statement for that storm around Lafayette. moving southwest at 20. Wind gusts to 40 to 50 miles an hour along the heavy rain and lightning. But again, that covers, to be more specific, southern Walker and northwestern Chattooga. So Lafayette to Tryon to Walnut Grove. And again, all these areas in red, even though the rain's kind of winding down in many of these spots, that flash flood warning out for the next a little over an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. Look around the city. Still really noisy across Marion County, all the way to Mont Eagle, Suwannee area, that part of Franklin County. In Hamilton, we're seeing that shift more to the southwest. So in Chattanooga, East Ridge, Etowah, East Brainerd, still rain, still claps of thunder, visible lightning strikes, but the worst of it kind of moving now to the southwest. Again, that's spreading over a large part of Walker County on into Chattooga. This is the particular cell right here they put out the special weather statement for. And there it is right there. So that's moving along and just to the west of Highway 27. Right along that eastern slope of Pigeon Mountain right there. Things are improving at Dalton. There's still a lot of thunder and lightning south of Dalton, but notice again how the amount of rain is easing in this area. That's where the heaviest now singing over southern Whitfield, southern Murray, runs northern Gordon, but not quite as intense as it was. Still lightning around, but not as bad. So that's a good. Things are gradually improving. Keyword gradually. All right, it's going to take a while. And I'll take this warning off so you can see underneath the radar. Still from Chattanooga north and east, Appleton, Etowah, Cleveland, White Oak area, it's still raining. There's still some lightning strikes over the past 10, 15 minutes. So it's still noisy, but for the most part in these areas, it's good. Okay. Unless you live in a flood prone area, for the most part, it's good. You're going to hear some thunder, but it's going to start easing away from you. Okay. But if you have to travel over the next hour or two and through the pre-dawn hours, just be very, very careful doing so. A lot of water on the roadways. Let me see if we can look at some TDOT cams over toward the Nickajack Lake area. Let's see. So this is I-24, mile marker 136. Let's see where that is on the map. That is, okay. That is on the south. That's coming on our side of Mont Eagle. So really slow going there. That is on the Marion County south side of Mont Eagle. Slow traffic there. I was at a standstill. I believe that's past the way station, I believe. Oh, yes, I think the way station's farther up. Let's see. I believe that's coming up Mont Eagle from the north side. Ah, the camera went out. Well, there we go. No, that's still on the south end. Let's see. So there's Browns Ferry. There's the Welcome Center on I-24. All right, that's at the Welcome Center I-24. So still raining heavily there, but traffic seems to be moving. There's that standstill on the Marion County side of Mont Eagle. Ooh, so a lot of lightning, for sure. Lost contact with my computer here. Fine. So there we go. That's the current situation. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look here. Some other comments here. As soon as I take a break for answering a question, I get called out for not answering questions. I'm trying, folks. I'm doing double duty, trying to show you radar and everything. And let's see. What's your question? So I'll look see what who had the question. Derek and Destiny. Where's the question? Okay, Derek and Destiny. Dalton is. I've mentioned this before. Dalton's improving. The worst of Dalton. Worst of it's now moving south of Dalton. Yes, it's still noisy. Yes, it's still raining, but the worst of that is moving away from Dalton. Okay, so it'll gradually improve, but do beware of flash flooding there. Okay. Jeremiah and Sugar Valley, it's going to be a little while because now that stronger line is just now reaching you. So between now and about 2:30, very heavy rain, lightning. That's basically what it's going to. It's just going to be really noisy. Okay, but not a severe threat. Pretty noisy, but be aware of any flash flooding. Randy, I was wondering that myself when I looked at But I really think that was like you're saying that I think it was more at the way station because there was that red light, which allows trucks to come and go. So I think that's where that camera was. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought the same thing. So Leela asking, can I go to sleep now? Leela, it depends on where you are. Couple of warnings back up there. So really intense rain now from Central Walker through Dade, through Northern Jackson, through Marion. So South Pittsburgh, Nickajack Lake area, Trenton, up to Whitwell. In downtown Chattanooga, the worst of it now is moving southwest away. So it's still going to be loud, but the worst of the rain is pushing away from the city right now. So around Lafayette, someone's saying, can I go to sleep in Lafayette? It's not a severe storm, but it is a lot of heavy rain and lightning and loud claps of thunder. So you can deal with that. You can, as always, have a way to receive alerts, whether it's with the Storm Track 9 app on your phone or Northern Alert Radio. Be sure it's armed, and so you'll know if there is another alert issued for you. Let me show you some of these rainfall rates. So in and around Lafayette, rainfall rate of about 2 inches per hour. So that breaks down to about an inch every 30 minutes. So pretty intense rain there. In south of Lafayette, we'll check the rain precip rate there. About 3 inches per hour, so roughly about an inch every 20 minutes. The storms are moving, they're not parked. So, that's still going to be an issue though with intensity of rain like that. This part of Western Marion, pretty heavy rain, really heavy rain. Some of that may be some hail causing reflectivity there. But that's still pretty intense there in parts of Marion. Let me try this right near South Pittsburgh. Yeah, about 2 inches per hour. Yeah. Wanda, I've not heard anything out of McKaysville. I know they had that flash flooding last Sunday, a week ago last Sunday, but there's not been any warnings per se from Copper Hill to McKaysville across the state line. So they've had some heavy rain. Hopefully they fared a lot better this time. Don't want to see a repeat of that. I mean, those storms sat there for hours a week ago. These are at least moving a bit. These are at least moving. And again, it's spreading out as it gradually starts to weaken a bit. The main push in the upper levels is from this direction, pushing this way, but it's causing all this activity to kind of spread out in all directions. So that's where it's all generally going. Once again, here are the only warnings out locally. We have the flash flood warning out, Northern Bradley, Northern Hamilton, large part of Bledsoe, most of Ray, most of Meigs, most of McMinn, and Northwestern Polk, a sliver of Monroe out to 3:15 Eastern Time. And again, that storm advisory for that storm in Walker, Chattooga expired. Now, it just means that that was really a wind gust threat, but it's still raining heavily. It's noisy, a lot of thunder and lightning, but it's mainly a heavy rain flood threat situation. Still pretty good downpours. Cleveland to Ocoee to Benton, Blue Ridge, Murphy, but again, occasional lightning, but over in this area is much more improved, okay, than what it was. Already all these areas north of the city, yeah, there's occasional lightning still near Sale Creek, it's still near Soddy Daisy, some occasional lightning in Dunlap. It's all now south of Dunlap, so it's moving away. But all those areas now are much better, and just be aware of the flooding risk, and even if you have to travel during the pre-dawn hours while it's still dark for sunrise, just keep in mind streams, creeks, their levels are going to be up a bit. Leela, the flood warning for Ray County, we'll put it back on the screen. Boop, right there. So right there, that's the flash flood warning out to 3:15. I've been putting it on and off the screen so you can see the radar view, but it's basically from Spring City and south. If you live in Dayton, you're under that flash flood warning till 3:15 a.m. Check some other rainfall totals here. Ignore those. I'm going to put this is going to be a 3-hour rainfall total. So this is rainfall over the past 3 hours. So the areas in yellow got some of the higher totals. Here's north of Cleveland, 2.5. This is going to be near Dayton, more towards Dayton Mountain, 3. Southern Monroe. And this is southwestern Polk. So got a lot of areas 2 to 3. It's just over the past 3 hours. And we'll here across North Georgia. A couple of cells in Gordon County have brought a lot of rain. So this is about 2.3 southeast of Calhoun, south of Chatsworth, 1.5 inches. Lafayette, where it's just now starting to rain. It already shows over 1 inch. Southern Bradley, 2.9. Over to Blue Ridge, 1.3. So kind of in that 1 to almost 3 inch range. Again, that's rainfall over the past 3 hours. And again, if I just zoom out across our local viewing area, the area where we're seeing the most intense rain and lightning now is sinking south and west of the city. So right here. And this movement in this general direction this way. Okay. So this is where the most intense rain is, moving away. Up in here, still pretty good rain. And it's going over the same area. It's already had too much rain. So Copper Hill, McKaysville, it's still raining. We'll keep an eye on any flash flood threat. A lot of lightning still in these pockets, but all these areas here are starting to improve. I mean, it's still going to be, if you want to go on to sleep, you can, just if you don't live in a flood prone area. But just it's going to be a little noisy for a while in these areas, but all these areas here, things are rapidly improving, not a severe threat. But everywhere else is right here. You go from Monteagle, South Pittsburgh, Bridgeport, Lafayette, Calhoun, south of Ellijay, all moving south. So in Dalton, things are improving. Ringgold, things are improving. Yeah, I know it's still raining. It's still loud clouds of thunder, but things are rapidly improving. Okay. So that's a good thing. Let's take a look at the power outage map one more time. All right, so we've got still a lot of the more red dots showing up. The numbers haven't gone up too much. They've kind of hovered around 36, 3,800. Got crews en route. We see the orange, and repairs in progress. We see the blue. So they are all out and about. But in these areas north and west of the city, they're able to get out there now because the weather is much better. Much, much better. But still, this is just the EPB coverage area. I know you go to Volunteer Electric, and it's Volunteer Energy. Their coverage area may have a bit more, but I've just got that up for a quick reference chart. Rachel, I hate to hear that. They're in Cleveland. Yeah, it's still raining there for sure, but in fact, you're experiencing some flooding there. Stay safe, because with the ground saturated, even just what's left of this rain can still cause a lot of problems. I want you to stay safe. Emma, East Ridge is improving. It's still raining and still thunder and lightning, but the worst of it's starting to push away. But it's still gonna be raining for a good hour or so, another good hour. Riley, weakening toward Rockmart. Yeah, for the most part, it will continue weakening. Now, with that said, if this all holds together, what could you have in Rockmart? Well, as it pulls south of Rome, it's just kind of that. Heavy downpours of rain and lightning, thunder that'll keep you awake, and be aware of some heavy downpours. But these are staying below severe levels, but it's mainly a lightning and heavy rainfall and a flooding issue. Mainly what we're looking at. Haley says power's out in Eider. And again, you can see in Dalton, Chatsworth, things are improving. It's still raining, yes, but the worst part of that's kind of moving away. No other advisories have been added. We still just generally have this flash flood warning still out for this 6-county region, north and east of the city, due to all the runoff. It's still raining. That's out till 3:15 Eastern time. Here we go. South Pittsburgh, Whitwell, on in Jackson County, south of Bridgeport, over to Stevenson. That area on Sand Mountain, very heavy rain there. Back across Lookout Mountain over to Trenton. Heavy rain, lots of lightning. Down 27 to Tryon. Be aware that in Somerville, we know the Chattooga River doesn't take much for that to start causing flooding issues. We've had so many flooding issues through the years here in this area, so be aware of that. This seems to be moving, though, so I don't think it's going to be parked over that area for a long period of time. But, the rainfall rate there, just to give an example, right there near Tryon, Rainfall rate of over 2.5 inches per hour. So I could easily put down about an inch or so every 20 minutes. Just be aware of a lot of runoff. Terry, Rossville's improving. Still some lightning, still rain, but not severe. Just be aware if you live in a low spot for any flooding. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little noisy for till at least 2:30 or so, and then things will greatly improve. But still, quite a light show going on. You can see all around the city, well, south and west, it's still really noisy, really loud. But again, its bark is worse than its bite as far as severity right now. And again, here, getting some moderate to heavy downpours. Copper Hill, McCaysville, a lot of that is terrain induced and start building that back up. So we don't want that lasting too long because that goes to that area that have flooding so bad. Copper Hill, McCaysville, so bad a little over a week ago. No flood warnings in that area, but again, just be aware of that. But all of our viewing area has saturated ground, and of course, heavy rain does not help the situation. Mandy, Saudi Daisy's pretty good right now. Pretty good. Still got occasional lightning. You can hear it in the distance. You see lightning to the south, but it's just light to moderate rain now. As long as you don't live in a flood-prone area, you're good. Brooke, yeah. Varnell, for the most part, yeah. I mean, still raining. Occasionally, a lightning strike nearby. But all of it, all the heavy rain breaking away from Varnell, pushing away. So, looking better. Cleveland, still some moderate downpours around, but it's not quite as intense as it was. No other warnings have been added. Again, that's the only warning, that flash flood warning out. North and west. Let's look at the tops of the radar here. Where's my page? Okay. Some people turning in for the night, I understand. See, Angela says stormy bad in Lookout Valley. Yeah, it's still there. Tiftonia, Lookout Valley area is still it's very loud. Okay. Again, as I mentioned so many times, not a severe storm, just a very loud one. As long as you do not live in a flood prone area, just stay put inside, let the storm pass on by. But it's not a severe one, just extremely, extremely noisy. And I mentioned this earlier, you can have severe storms that don't make this much noise. Severe storms are based on their wind potential and hail. So a severe storm's got to have a threshold of wind 58 miles an hour or higher, and hail by the size of a quarter. In this case, a little bit of hail, just a little bit. For the most part, these are heavy rain and lightning, but it's so much lightning, making it so noisy, making it seem like it's more intense. So it's a noisy one. But my main concerns here are the lightning and any flooding threat. Okay, you can see around the city, things are improving. Heavy rain moving away. That's good. Let's take that flood warning off so you can see the radar better. Everything north of the city now, much, much better. Saudi, Sale Creek, Decatur, Dunlap, Pikeville. Again, still some lightning. Athens, same thing, still some lightning, but it's all moving away. Cleveland, but improving. But if you go on the bypass and east of 64, the river road there, just keep in mind, that's some very heavy rain. So We know that area right in here can flood pretty easily. Copper Hill, McKay's Hill here. Let's just keep an eye on that. That all moves south and east. All right, 2 a.m. Eastern. 1 a.m. Central. Happy Wednesday. It's August the 12th. Last August the 12th, we dealt with some of the worst flash flooding in recent memory, right there on I-24 and East Ridge. So August 12th is going to start to become synonymous with heavy rain. You can still see the general spread out as it fans out. There we go. And we've also got this area picking out with moderate rain. We'll keep an eye on that. But the worst weather locally is right around in here. All of that near Canton is out of our viewing area. It's really just the worst right there moving away. So that's pushing into Chattooga, into Floyd, and other parts of DeKalb. All other areas are improving, but still raining. Still raining. It's still a flooding issue. Angela, there in Lookout Valley, it's going to be, what is it, 2 a.m. Eastern now. Well, 1 Central. I would say through at least 2 Central. But eventually, within this hour, the heaviest will subside a bit. But if you have a leak, even with light rain, that's going to continue. So at least for the next hour, with some moderate downpours, we're gradually getting weaker as we move on through. Yeah, Pat. I mean, there's still a lot of lightning south and east of Cleveland. So, yeah, when it's dark like this, you can see lightning from miles away. And it's close enough where you're hearing a lot of rumbles there in nearby Whitfield and nearby Polk County. That's where all it is. But it's moving away from you. So, not coming back, moving away from you. And then no other advisories issued. We still just have that one flash flood warning out. No other warnings out. Let's go ahead and take a look at later today. So, on our feature track later today, so this is around 7:15. And with the rain we've had, we could easily drop back to the upper 60s in spots, but that's going to be covered by some fog, so be aware of that. So through the day tomorrow or later today, we'll have temperatures back. This is around lunchtime, 85 to 90. Into the heart of the afternoon, pushing mid-90s. Again, there'll still be some scattered storms around here and there, kind of pop-ups, maybe the early mid-evening hours. So maybe not as numerous tomorrow as today. And then through tomorrow, or excuse me, Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, could have some very early morning showers this on Thursday, but really notice the timeline. After early Thursday, I mean, shower chances just dramatically drop off. And really, Thursday, Friday, the weekend is just hot. Hot. That's it. For the next several days. In fact, I'll show you the 7-day. Now, keep in mind, since it's now Wednesday, we're kind of getting an 8-day forecast because since it's now Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. So I started looking. So the 7 day starts on Thursday. It's just a timing thing. So notice Thursday, Friday, weekend. Look at all that. These are not heat index values. That's the actual temperatures. It's going to be really hot and very low storm chances. So if you're tired of storms, you're going to get your wish. But on the other side of things, it's going to be really hot. But it's August. It's August. Heat, humidity comes with August. It's always our hottest month of the year. Every time we get to July, people are like, "Oh, hey, July is over." I'm like, "Here comes August." And I mean, it's the equivalent of February in winter. Okay, February always can be cold, even though you're on, the downhill slide past Groundhog Day. February still can be cold. And that's the same thing with August. August, you think, oh, we can, it's almost, you can almost sit September, but we're not quite to fall yet. It's still gonna be hot and humid, but fall will get here. It does every year. It cools off. It always cools off every year. So we still have the 4 seasons. Nothing's changed there. August is always hot and humid, and then we'll cool down as we always do. It seems like it seems like it won't, but it will. All right, going back to the radar view. Come on, pop up there. There we go. All right, pretty intense light show and rain from Trenton to Rising Fawn. This area, the Mountain Cove region, Cloudland Canyon area, Sand Mountain near Eider, Henniger, Stevenson, all this area right along and east of 72, just intense rain, a lot of lightning. And finally in Marion County, the intensity of rain moving away. Now, it's still over Orem, it's still over South Pittsburgh, but in the hour, it's going to start moving on out. A little less lightning. Same thing around Chattanooga. The really heavy stuff moving out. There's still lightning. It's still going to be a little rumbly out there, but starting to move away. Same thing, Cleveland. That heavy rain kind of starting to ease away. Not as much lightning. You can still see it from miles away. And got to keep an eye on this. This is over the mountainous regions. So you got a lot of valley pockets and channel runoff off the mountain there with heavy rainfall. So we got to be mindful of the creeks and streams there for any flash flooding potential. That's what I'm mostly concerned about here. Not a severe storm potential. These are not, it's not a severe storm potential. We've not had any severe storm warnings all night long. LJ, things are improving for you. Chatsworth improving. Dalton improving. Yeah, there's still lightning around, but better. Calhoun, same thing. The worst heavy rains now pushing south of you. It's approaching Rome, over to Amerchi. Somerville and Tryon, little pockets there of heavy rain and lightning. A good light show, not severe. It's noisy and heavy rain potential. So Trenton, South Pittsburgh, Orem, Stevenson, but all pushing more toward the southwest and moving generally away. So all this in here, no longer severe. Occasional lightning strikes, keeping you awake, but for the most part, you can go on to sleep as long as you live in a flood-prone area. And right on cue, Diane says storming and Rising Fawn. You got that right there. Check any wind gusts within this right here. And you see a little bright green. See some gusts above 30 or so. Just a little below that, but still not severe, not severe winds. We don't want that. But we are seeing the intensity come down quite a bit, but still pretty noisy there. South Pittsburgh over to Orem and Bridgeport, right along 72, and starting to push now south of 24. Jasper improving for you. Still raining, but not quite as the intensity as it once was. But again, you can see a large part of the viewing area now rapidly improving. But Somerville, Lafayette, Trenton to about South Pittsburgh. The worst weather, but starting to sink away. Everywhere else, things are rapidly improving. Rapidly improving. That's a good thing. And just to check the advisories, and the only advisory locally is still that flash flood warning north of the city for about the next hour. Look at the echo tops of those storms. Look at the echo tops here. Yeah, those are coming way down from where they once were. We had storm heights about 45, 50,000 feet. Now the average is down to 30,000. So the tops are coming down. That's a sign of things improving a bit. Still some of these tops on the storms on Sand Mountain about 35 to 40,000 feet, but the intensity is a lot less. But on many of these, the storm heights are coming down. So that's a good thing that things are rapidly improving. Let me show you one other map. Let's take a look at any other storm damage from storms today. Here we go. These are official storm warning reports. Let's take a look. Let's go into Jackson County. So this was from earlier Tuesday afternoon. Some trees down there. Let's check Scottsboro. That was also around 4:30 Eastern. So a lot of this was storm damage from earlier on during the day Tuesday. Good news here is that as loud as those storms were, we're not looking at any damage locally as far as any wind threat. At least there's not been any reports around. They're very loud, some wind-driven rain, a lot of lightning, but not quite severe intensity. It was north of us. You go up towards Oak Ridge, Knoxville area. Some of those are a bit more intense. This is Lenore City. Just before midnight, that was flash flooding going on. Let's see. In Knoxville itself, that's near Bearden. Street flooding. It's before 11 o'clock. But again, not no other, thankfully, no other severe reports locally. That's good. That's good. In that area, that big blob in red, that flash flood warning out to 3:15. Excuse me. I hate to keep coughing here, but I may have to break away here for a little while. The rest of the voice, I don't know why I got the cough here, but for the most part, a lot of this is starting to move away. A large part of the viewing area is improving, so that's a good thing. And really pushing everything farther south. But again, here are the storms in southern Marion starting to move out of the Marion County. It'll be before 2 a.m. Central. That storm will be out of Marion. But over DeKalb, Jackson County, Ider, Mentone, Henniger, Stevenson. Heavy rain, a lot of loud claps of thunder. But for the most part, staying below severe levels. Same thing as Somerville. These are some just loud, nasty storms. A lot of lightning, thunder still around Lafayette, south of Chickamauga, south of Dalton. But for the most part, though, it's starting to trend away, so not a severe threat. As things start to ease a bit. And again, even the area under the flash flood warning, the rain is easing up. So north of the city, things are rapidly improving. That's good. Lookout Valley, Tiftonia area, still dealing with some heavy rain along Highway 41. Starting to kind of wind on down South Pittsburgh, Orem, Stevenson, Bridgeport. That part of Sand Mountain, really noisy, but below severe levels. Just a lot of loud claps of thunder and heavy rain. But for the most part, though, things are improving greatly. All right, folks, I'm going to give the voice a rest. And for the most part, I will, we'll keep you posted should anything else change on this. With all this kind of moving away, we're going to see things gradually kind of wind on down. And that matched up with our future track earlier on during our 11 o'clock newscast at around 2:30 or so, things would kind of ease out. But do keep in mind, if you live in a flood-prone area, okay, just keep in mind the area under a flash flood warning in Cleveland, Athens, Decatur, Dayton for the next hour because of all the runoff, even though the heavy rain has stopped. But also watch this area here over parts of Polk, Fannin, Cherokee County, and northern Gilmer because of all the higher terrain, and we've already had previous flooding in McCaysville, Copper Hill. Now, again, if you have a flood-prone area, be aware of this. No other warnings are out for flash flooding, but with so much rain coming down, it's still raining. I want you to just be aware of that. And again, these storms are they're noisy. Rome, Somerville, Tryon, Lafayette, Ider, but for the most part, below severe levels. But going to keep you awake. And in many other surrounding areas, you're going to still hear claps of thunder, but for the most part, things are easing a bit. Okay? So I'm going to rest the voice for a bit. If need be, we'll break back in. If not, stay safe out there for the rest of the overnight hours. And if you're going to be traveling before sunrise, keep in mind, there could be some debris on the road because of the storms moving by, because of some of the washing of some excessive runoff causing some debris on roadways. But stay safe, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll keep you updated, as we always do. Meteorologist Olivia Glass being here shortly anyway. And she'll take you the rest of the way. She'll be on Good Morning Chattanooga coming up shortly as well in a couple of hours on News Channel 9, keeping you updated. Have a safe morning, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Thanks for watching.